Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to go over my favorite high-end powders. So I've gone over my drugstore favorites and I wanted to share some of my higher end. So I'm just gonna start. I have 3 loose powder favorites that I really like, and I purchase over and over, or I will purchase when I run out. The first is my tried and true. I have been using this for I think 12 years, and this is the Mercier translucent loose setting powder, and it's in translucent. This is just, it's great. I like the packaging. It's really good packaging. It has the little, you know, dispenser thingy. I need to get more. I'm real low. But I have really dry skin, and I feel like, well, let me just tell you where I use this. I use this to set my concealer, and that's really it. I don't use this for all over my face. I just prefer using a pressed powder for that. It's really personal preference. But I really think this does a great job setting concealer. It doesn't make my under eyes look crepey or really dry, because some loose powders can just give you this really rough effect under your eyes, and this does not do that. And one of these will last you a really long time. I believe this is, I want to say $38 or somewhere in the high 30s, but like I said, I mean, one of these lasts you a really long time. So if you haven't found a setting powder you really love, I would recommend this one. I mean, I've been using it for 12 years, so it's really great. A newer one, well, not newer. I've been using this one for about a year, and I feel like it's pretty comparable to the Mercier, and this is the Cover FX. This is their perfect setting powder, and this is actually the travel size, so it's smaller. I'm not crazy about the way that their little dispenser is, because you have to, like, it has this little tab here, but for some reason, well, there is product in there today, but I always have a really hard time getting powder up into the little area. Maybe it's just, they just do this for the travel size. I don't really know. I think price-wise, this powder, if you get this size, I want to say it's $30. They're about the exact same price. I don't personally notice a big difference between either. I did try their illuminating setting powder and I returned it. I did not like it at all. But I do love just the perfect setting powder. So this is another great option. I really can't say do one or the other, because I get the same effect from both. And once again, I use this for concealer. And then the last setting powder I use, which this isn't really high end actually, because I think it's $12. I love it, but the packaging is horrible. I think this is $12, but like I said, I don't use this as much as I would because of the packaging. It's so bad. It's the RCMA no color powder, so it looks like a spice container, and so the way that you have to get it out is I guess they expect you to like sprinkle it. I don't know where, but typically what I do is I just have to unscrew and then I pour some into the lid. But I'm planning on transferring all of this into this container when I buy a new one of these. But I really love this. It is white, but it doesn't give you flashback when you get your, you know, like in the camera when you get your picture taken, because you would think that, because it's super white compared to like the like no color. But this doesn't look, I mean, it does definitely, it brightens under your eyes, which is a benefit. But I really like the results. I feel like it's the same. It doesn't make my under eyes look really dry and creepy. I really love it. And like I said, this is $12, I think. Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure. So those are the 3 loose powders that I use. And like I said, I would use this a whole lot more if it wasn't like in a, see, it didn't look like a kitchen product. Horrible packaging. All right, moving on to my pressed powders. I have 3 that I use for setting my foundation that I love, but I will save my very favorite until last. So the first one is definitely pricey. I really like it, but I do not know that I would repurchase it, only because my very favorite one is a little less and I feel like I get the same result, but I really love this. So there's nothing bad about this one. So anyway, this is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Compact Powder. So the packaging is great. It's like super thin like that. And I am in color 2. So there is one that I think is lighter than this, but it is just like a super finely milled powder. It does not look cakey when you apply it over your face, and I use a more dense brush and just kind of push it in after my foundation to set it so I don't get creasing and so it doesn't move. But this powder is just, it's wonderful. It looks so natural on the skin. It doesn't look heavy. It's just a beautiful effect. The negative is that it's like $64 or $62 for this little thing. Now, granted, this has lasted me quite a while, but I don't use it every day. I switch it out. So it has a steep price tag, but if you have that kind of budget where you can spend that on a powder, I would definitely say go for it. They have a great foundation too. When I talk about my high-end foundations, I love the foundation that's like the sister of the powder, but this is a good one. It's just, it's expensive. All right, so for a more affordable but still high-end, this one is the Mineralize Skinfinish by MAC. And I am light plus, so there is a color that's lighter than this one, but it's just too light. And this one I need to get more of. So it's like, you can hardly tell. So I still have some powder here. And what I love about this powder is that I feel like it's not as matte as this one. So if I'm kind of wanting a really glowy look to my skin, I tend to lean more towards this one. I feel like I get a really gorgeous result. I don't feel like this one is any better. It's just kind of different. This one I feel like is in the $30 range, so it's half the price. So if this is way out of your budget, try this one. Or if you just kind of like it does not have shimmer in it, but I feel like it's just maybe more satin finish. It's not this. Well, it's a mineralized finish. Hello. So there you go. And this is a matte finish. Duh. So if you haven't, this is a great one to have in your collection. I'll just leave it at that. Really great. I'll move on. Okay, so my number one favorite setting powder that I just really love. I just love it. It's so finely milled. It is so natural when you apply it. It's what I have on. Actually, I don't think it is what I have on today. I think I used this one today. Regardless, without further ado, it is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish. And I have this in number 1 fair. There's not a ton of colors. So packaging is super sleek. And this is more in the $40 range. So it's about $20 less than this one. And so this is the one that I will buy again, opposed to purchasing this, because I'm like, why do this when I love my results with this? And I will be purchasing this again. Basically, narrow it down to these two. Like if you want one high-end and one like still high-end, but like, a little bit more it's MAC. Come on, MAC's like the all-American makeup company. I would go with these two. But I'll just show you. It's pretty similar to the Armani. Yeah, if you look, maybe a little different in color, but once again, this stuff, when you apply it, it is just so, I'm acting like, well, I guess you can, it just gives your skin this flawless airbrush finish. I love this. And you can get this brand at Nordstrom or Beautylish. I get a lot of Charlotte Tilbury on Beautylish, which is a beauty company based in San Francisco. So if you live around me, you get it in like a day, like next day, if you order from them. It's really nice. But yeah, this is my fave. This is the number 1. Try it. Okay, now moving on to this next brand is definitely one of my hands down favorites when it comes to powders and highlighters. I love it, and it's expensive. I'm not gonna lie, it's expensive, but there are ways around the expense, okay? There are ways around. So the brand is called Hourglass, and they have these powders that mimic different types of lighting, like candlelit, sunlight, just there. So anyway, so let me go over the ones I have, and I have the travel size, because if you buy a full size of these, I think they're $40 something, but these are $24. And I still I have tons. I haven't even begun to hit. Just whatever. Luminous Light. Okay, so Luminous Light is supposed to give the appearance of a luminous light. And so how I like using these powders, and let me show you, because these may kind of show up nicely. Let me just show you. This is what it looks like, and it doesn't really do justice. I put it, does that even show? I like to take a brush, and sometimes I will maybe dot a little bit of this with a brush under my eyes, kind of where I had powder, or I'll just take a large fluffy brush, and when I'm done with all my makeup, I will take my brush, because these do not have like color. So you can just do them, and it'll just give a glow all over my face. Just lightly dust it, forehead, my nose, just all over, down my neck. I'll do it. And if it's like summertime, or if you have something that shows your shoulders, you can kind of dab some there to just give a little glow. So I have the Luminous Light, and then I have Diffused Light, which is much lighter. You can see this is Diffused Light, but I do the same thing with all, so I put them together. So there is a large, I guess you can see the difference. Diffused Light is much brighter. In the camera, I can't even tell if this is showing up. But this one, I really like to go under my eyes, just kind of dust a little bit under my eyes if I just want to kind of brighten that area. But I mean, I'll do this all over my face. I don't really care. I think it looks good all over. You can do it wherever you feel like brightening up your face. And then the next one I have is called Mood Light. And this one is much pinkier, like a pinky tone. It's very pretty. I use this one a lot for some reason. I go to this one. So you can see it's this one. I have all three. And like I said, in the camera, it doesn't look like anything showing up. But it is a pinky color. And I do the same thing with this. I just will brush it all over my face. Not a lot, just literally like that. Okay, and then the last Hourglass and the last product is their Ambient Lighting Palette. And this has dim light, incandescent light, and radiant light. So it has 3 more that you can see. I know, right? Why do you need all of these? Well, if you're obsessed with makeup, you just do, right? Even if they're basically the same colors. And I love this palette. They have a few palettes like this, which I have one of their highlighting ones that I'll go over when I do my high-end highlighters. And I love them. These are the most just, I keep saying finely milled, but they are. They're just these like silky powders, and they're expensive. This thing's not cheap, but it's beautiful. And so what I like to do with this one, this is good for when I go and travel. I will just take my brush and I will go hit all 3 and then just kind of swish it all over my face. Because you've got some dark, and then, well, 2 kind of darker, and then the really light in the middle. But this is also a really good option. And this palette, if you bought this, is actually a better deal than purchasing 3 of these. So if you're wanting to try some of these out, I would just go for this palette. I think this is $68, but it will last you forever. Like, I've had this for a long time and I still have tons. So this one is a better deal than purchasing, like, because you know I had to get like all the different moods and all that kind of stuff, but now I got every mood for any kind of weather, you know, like, since these are all supposed to emulate like sunlight, different types of lighting. Anyway, yeah, so that's all the powders that I have. These are all really all high-end powders that I use. I hope this helped. If there are any high-end powders that you love that I have not mentioned, please let me know. I do not like any powders that are super matte. I can't do that. So it can be, I mean, like these I guess are matte, but I don't like powders that say like matte powder. No, I don't want anything like that. I like luminous. If anyone knows of a really good luminous powder, let me know. Because the only luminous, I mean, these are obviously all luminous, but I don't like set my foundation with it. The only kind of luminous one to set my foundation is this, like an everyday. So if you have one that you really like, please let me know, because I'm always up for trying something new. Okay, well, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.